Guys, right now we're going to talk about contractors once again. I'm going to give you a number of things to look out for because this is so important. If you do not have a good contractor, you're not going to have a good outcome. And you can have a really good deal and do everything else right. Market for the deal, have a good marketing campaign, negotiate the contract, close on it, find the money, close on it. But if you don't have good contractors, even if you're going to make 20 grand, bad contractors can botch a deal and you can lose money on that house. So make sure you know who you're working with and that you can trust them and they're not going to screw you over. Number one, we talked about this. I want to bring it up again. Do not pay them up front. Make sure that if they're asking for all the money up front or half the money up front or quarter of the money up front, I would never give them more than maybe $1,000 up front. That is plenty for them to get the job started. They're going to bitch and whine and complain and make every excuse. Oh, well, how am I going to pay my guys? And simply say, look, I'm about to trust you with a $30,000 rehab that you want the money up front, but you're somehow so successful at the business you run that you can't pay for your guys to start the job. That's a little worrisome that I'm going to trust you with this big a project, yet you got to this point in your life by managing your life in such a manner that you can't even afford $1,000. What type of business are you running? Now, don't say it as aggressive and kind of as sarcastic as I did there, but you get the point what I'm saying, right? If they don't have the money to fund the first part of the job, they're probably not someone that can do the job for you and you can trust to manage your job if they can't manage their own business in their own life. So do not give them the money up front. They will run away with it. Please do not do this. Okay, number two, if they don't have a bank to pay them and they're asking to get paid with cash, or they're asking you to wire money to some like check cashing place or weird type of payment structure, guys, this should be a signal that you shouldn't work with them, right? You should not be working with people that don't have a way for you to pay them. If they don't have a bank account, that should be a red flag. Also, it's going to be a pain in the ass to constantly drive across town or constantly have to meet them there. They're usually going to want to get paid every few days, and it's just going to drive you nuts. So just don't do it. Number three, if they do not have a license, guys, I understand you want to get this project going. When you start out, you don't know a lot of contractors, and you're going to find some random guy at Home Depot or on Craigslist, and you're just going to want to get going. This is risky. Make sure they're licensed, guys. Always ask them. The other thing is, make sure they have insurance. Number four, if they don't have insurance, guys, they're not a very good company, right? Do you really want them working on a house that you have a lot of risk in, and they could blow this whole deal for you, right? I promise you, if you get in a bad situation with a bad contractor, is going to frustrate you so bad. This is one of the biggest headaches that not just myself, but every one of my friends who's a successful rehabber has. It's all we talk about, how bad we hate contractors. If you're a contractor right now, if you can just be honest and ethical, you're gonna get all the business, and you know this because there's so many bad people in your industry, and unfortunately, it is how it is. And now not all contractors are bad. I must point that out. I've actually worked with some really good ones. I have some that have worked with me for years and will continue to work with me because they don't screw me over and I don't screw them over. I pay them on time, and that's what you need to understand too, guys. It needs to go both ways. You pay them on time when you tell them you're going to pay them. You pay them in full, because if they honor their agreement, you need to honor your agreement to them. It goes both ways. Don't be a scumbag investor. A lot of investors screw over contractors too. It doesn't just go one-sided. In fact, it happens a lot more than people think. And if people would just be honest, they'd have successful businesses, because you have repeat business instead of always trying to find new contacts and new people to work with. This is another one, guys. If they do not have, it's like number 5 or 6 now, if they don't have their own tools, if they do not have tools to do the job on their own, and you have to go buy them a paint sprayer or a paint washer or paintbrushes or whatever it is, your life is going to be hell, guys. If they don't have tools, how can they possibly manage your big project with a lot of risk if they can't manage their life enough at that point to be good enough at what they do to afford their own tools to bring to the project? I promise you, if you go buy tools for these people, the reason why they don't have tools is because they pawn every other tool that they have. Every power washer that they have, every miter saw, everything that they have ends up in the pawn shop for cigarettes and drugs. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of this that goes on. And so if they don't have their own tools, don't give them your tools, because soon they won't have your tools either. If that makes sense. The last thing, guys, is you be very careful. You're gonna hear this talk in this business. Do you have a 30-second elevator speech? You know, a 30-second elevator speech is a rehearsed line that you say every time you talk to a private money lender or every time you talk to a motivated seller. And we'll give one here in a little bit for a part of this program, what our elevator speech is when we talk to a motivated seller. But Contractors have a motivated seller speech too, or a 30-second elevator speech too. And it goes like this. I've been in the business for 30 years. I can do everything. I can do tile, I can do paint, I can do drywall. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it all. Can you fly to the moon? I can do it, and I'll do it better than everybody else, and I'll do it on time, cheaper, right? Guys, ask to verify what they're telling you. Ask to go look at another job that they're working on, or that you can go talk to someone that's not their friend, an actual person, if you can go over and check out the work they've done. I've literally done this and talked to people who they said they worked for and asked if I could go over to that house and simply say, Mr. Homeowner, can you send me photos, or can I come over and check, your property, this other investor, that this flooring company did what they said they're doing? Because guys, they're all gonna tell you that they're the best at everything. They've been in the business for 30 years, and all of a sudden you get them in there and they may be one hell of a tile guy, or they may be an incredible painter, but they can't do drywall, or they can't, basically put up backsplash, and they will botch the rest of your house. And I promise you, they're all gonna tell you they know how to do everything. So just kind of be aware of this, guys. Make sure they're licensed, make sure they're insured, make sure they're not asking for money up front, make sure they have their own tools. And guys, just keep your head on a swivel here. Be careful, think about it. If it feels wrong in your gut, it is wrong. Be careful when you're hiring your contractors, especially for the first time. Let's go on to the next video.